number 2. Have good, luck fun.
Well, that's what you do need occasionally. What will be the first ban here? Timer ticking down. It's going to be SiNister banning the Lion.
Yeah, very powerful operator in the right hands when used correctly. Auglis banned it out last time around. They didn't want to have any of it on bank. SiNister the ones, they don't trust that Auglis will ban it here, so they know they need to.
Not having a bar of it.
Wow.
Auglis are going to go ahead and ban the Habana.
A hard breach ban on this map, that's not something you see very
Especially
commonly.
a Habana. Like, I feel like a Thermite's a much more powerful hard breach on this map.
Really?
Maybe like the
Why would you
Habana's,
say that?
the Habana's good for opening up behind a bar maybe when you're attacking the hookah bomb site. That's the only time I think you'd want a Habana over a Thermite.
I mean, we've talked about this map not being a map where you see much hard breaching at all being necessary. Where else would you? I just don't see the Thermite being that useful.
Thermite can be useful for an attack into, of course, the penthouse.
Yeah, but August just don't. I don't know. I know it's not meta these days. Anyhow, speaking of not meta, this smoke ban is the real highlight for me of this ban phase. One of the least banned operators in the Pro League and one of the most played operators in Siege, full stop, forever, of all time.
It seems like SiNister have had 2 very weird bans on defense on both these maps tonight.
Castle and then smoke. Specific counter-strat bans, I don't think that Castle ban had any impact on Auglis' defense on bank, but the smoke is a real different story. You know, smoke is a very, very powerful operator that we have seen Auglis use a lot before. You know, not that they're special for that, every team uses it. But hey.
So what operator do you bring for denial instead? Like, they really do not have a lot of denial here, SiNister.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it depends on, you know, you have a lot of options on Coastline for how you want to deny plant. It really is bomb site dependent. So a lot of the time on this map, as we saw earlier today in the Zealous Fury match, it's opening up holes in the floor where you're actually just going to shoot through them. That ends up being the key to denial. C4s are pretty useful. But to me, you know, the main position that the smoke would play is on this side, actually, inside of hookah. When the plant's trying to go down behind that bomb on the B bomb site, right where Fisher guys open up holes in the floor, you can throw a smoke babe when you're sitting at the bar on the opposite side of the bomb. You throw it into the wall, and the smoke actually propagates through that wall and denies that key plant spot. And that's something I've seen Auglis use a lot. Maybe that's what this ban is for.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see till next half to see. Oh, Arnie. I don't know. I'm just very interested to see how Auglis are going to go on their defense without their smoke. Like, are they going to try and overcompensate in terms of amounts of C4s?
I don't know. I'm keen to see it, but hey, we've got 6 rounds before we get there, and SiNister starting it off with the first kill. That's Fisho with the SMG-11, but there is a good reply. Ethan takes down one of the key fraggers from SiNister. That's Copper on the floor. So it looks like, surprisingly to me, like this isn't something I would say particularly meta attacking this bomb site, or at least previously it wasn't, this buck vertical play. But it seems to be what Auglis is doing, and it seems to be what Fury was doing earlier today as well.
No, I want to say it is fairly common, Dev. Like, this floor's been known to be destructible. Yeah. It's also how you attack its reverse sometimes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's how you attack the bar bomb site. I just personally feel like I haven't seen it in a while. Anyhow, we know Auglis have some very strong buck players. Emo Rin, always been great with the CA. So disabling these key positions inside of hookah is really what typically allows an aquarium push, which is what we mostly see these days. Just a nice, simple push. Though, with more and more utility invested these days into denying that aquarium push, perhaps planting inside a hookah is actually preferable.
Yeah, and there is no downstairs denial right now. Of course, that doesn't mean there can't be any rotates down if required.
Arnie's contesting this downstairs area. I can hear the Capitao firebolts really forcing some of these players out, and Arnie takes a lot of damage, eventually falls. Derper as well, finding that cheeky pick onto Luna. Fisher guy, the key player here at the top of blue stairs, really worried about anyone trying to push up. August have so many players still up, and most importantly, they have 40 seconds to play with.
Oh, that's unlucky. Fisher guy's going to go down through the wall, so it is all just up to Vicious. Of course, he is the doc, so he can get the long-range res if he can get line of sight. But the thing is, he's going to have to cross quite a few angles here, potential crossfires.
I think it's worth the risk just to try to revive your teammate. He's going to try to do it, gets it off. Fisher guy gets up. This has really changed the situation now. Fisher guy has a lot of HP, and this SMG-11 is a great weapon. Vicious finds another kill onto Dirt. And here we have the entrance from Diesel into the bomb site. He gets sprayed, but Ethan wins that fight, but it's just Diesel and Fisher guy left. Who's going to win the fight? Diesel with the clutch in a 1 versus 1. So much almost happened for SiNister there, but the lone 2 players from August just held on.
Yeah, great stuff there from August. Great stuff from SiNister as well. That was a very competitive round there, DevMata.
Absolutely. I mean, we very rarely see Vicious being the man to step up. You know, he's that player often making all the calls. He's often their support, and he really stepped up in that position, really demonstrating the potential for what you can use that Doc stim pistol for. It's not just for overhealing and going for a spawn pick, not just for overhealing when you take some damage in a gunfight that you're losing. You can really turn the tide of a round. That was a 2 versus, essentially a 1 versus 4, right? With his teammate down, to turn into a 2 versus 2. That was so very clutchable.
Penthouse is, you know, SiNister going to change it up straight away, Dev.
Yeah, well, you know, your philosophy is usually 2 and move, but I think that, you know, if you, on a map like this where all the bomb sites are viable, if as soon as you feel like you got a bit of weakness on one side, you know, why not? Just switch it up.
That's a good point. Like, if you don't think you can fix your mistakes, there's no point trying to force it out just because the rule says so, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I think it's really got to be a call made. If you know what went wrong and you know how to fix that and you believe you can fix that right now, straight away, then do it. If you don't, then why not try something different if you think you're going to have just as much success or more success? So, deployable shield placed in this theater hallway to allow an advantage to anyone who's peeking out from the side. That's a really nice Valkyrie camera. Almost completely concealed, I believe, in the shrubbery.
The shrubbery.
A shrubbery?
Next you're going to be saying knee, aren't you, Dev?
We are the knights.
All right, let's keep this on on subject, please.
All right. Sorry, you get me talking about Monty Python. I am never going to shut up.
See, I'm well aware of that. That's why I'm trying to stay, far away from that. Look at Diesel. He's still droning 40 seconds into the round.
I thought we were going to see some parkour from Emo, but no, just getting down. I mean, yeah, Diesel droning, he's a support player. He does a great job of it. Copper taken out on the sprint. I don't know how he was flushed out, but great pinch from August to make it happen. And once again, that's the 2nd round in a row where August are really shutting down this key fragger.
Just roaming without info, and it shows how it can be punished. Like your drone, dancing around his feet can force him out and into the crosshair of Neofighter there. Well, this is ambitious from Fisher guy.
What's he doing? Looking for a drone, was it?
I'd assume so.
There was a camera right there.
Yeah, I know.
Shoot the camera. So yeah, that's the thing about Copper, right? Specifically in this attack. I think he does sometimes have a lot of success when players try to contest him, but August are smarter than trying to actually feed players towards him. They just make him feel the pressure so he has to move. And then they have someone waiting for him. So they're not really taking a fight. Copper's not even in a position to fight when he dies. Speaking of the fights, Emo getting so close, but completely out of ammo in both his weapons, just trying to get his floor bangs. He gets so close, but 2 rounds left in the skeleton. Kiani eventually falls to Ethan. It's a good long angle being utilized. Fisher guy still getting aggressive outside of guitar.
Oh, and Fisher guy, is he aware of the player or repelled on the window here?
Sees the wire, he sprays to the wall, but somehow Neo finds it. He's been taken very low.
How does he win that? 1 HP to his name, that's for sure, Dev.
But there's only 2 guys left on the side of SiNister. Just the 2 players against 4 from August. Neofighter will go down without much of a fight. This good flank watch works perfectly. Ethan fulfilling that role. Just the pinch. And it's just Vicious left. Perfect double peek from the August players. A flawless round. Goes to show, a team who operates like a team will win as a team.
Yes, great stuff from the August boys. SiNister, I don't know, it was a round that just snowballed, didn't it, Dev?
Yeah, I mean, what was really the first catalyst to that? I think maybe it was Copper dying.
Yeah.
And what do you do if you're SiNister? You know, I feel like that's just the playstyle they're used to going with. What do you change up against August here?
I think you need more support for Copper. Like, him trying to solo roam does not really look like it's working. He needed someone with him, someone to potentially trade, or, you know, that he could bait.
So what, maybe Luna head out and roam with him? It looked like SiNister kind of, their strategy was have two players aggressive inside of VIP and guitar area, and then Copper just roaming by himself. Like, what, should Copper be supporting the VIP hold, or should Copper be, you know, should one of the VIP players be supporting Copper, and then maybe they're going to get, the remaining VIP players going to get eliminated? I mean, how do you change that? How do you fix that?
Well, what were those players doing on site while Copper was dying? Not much, really. Like, maybe stopping them from rushing to the bomb site, if you want to be technical.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risk. If you'd rotated one more player off site, then August probably would have analysed that weakness and just hard press site. Anyhow, SiNister seem to be just as stuck for ideas as we are for how to fix the penthouse defense. It's not very much a meta bomb site these days. I mean, when you're coming up against a team like August, I don't think you should be expecting to win penthouse. So SiNister are going to go back to the bomb site they've already lost previously, Hookah.
Yeah, they've lost, what is it, 2 for 2, Dev?
Yep.
But yeah, I honestly think, you know, when I say like baiting for Copper, I don't mean like, you know, someone to be someone he can trade off of. I mean someone being loud and, you know, active on one side of the map, getting them to focus in on that player while Copper can be a bit sneaky and try and capitalize off them.
I think the thing is that we analyze this on Bank as well. Like, Copper is a player who wants to be pushed. He wants people to know he's there, and he wants people to push him, and he wants to take that gunfight. But August aren't dealing with him that way. They know he's there, so they don't push him. They pressure him, force him to make a rotate, and then he gets flushed into another player who's cutting off that rotation.
So maybe Copper should be baiting for someone then in that regards.
Maybe Copper should just not be contesting, or not be moving instead, just contest. Like, if he's feeling pressure from one side, don't feel the temptation to run away. It's like what Arnie's doing right now. If he gets pressure from one side, starts to run away. Instead, Copper's the kind of player who just wants to take that fight.
Oh. Arnie getting caught on the angle there also is going to cause him to go down quite low from that.
Yeah, and I think we are seeing a bit of what you suggested. Copper and Arnie together were making that move, and they rotated away together, denied a bit of time out of August, but didn't find anything really of it. Ethan, great angle from that window, finds one.
Arnie going to get healed up through the floor, I like that. Good little angle.
Yeah, Stim Pistol working miracles. Still, not sure it'll be enough. Still no damage done to August, and they're making good time. Good position as well for them. Not sure the mind behind that grenade was. Didn't find anyone sitting on the platform as there was no one in that position. Luna doesn't take any damage for it. She just moves up a little bit more safely and then creeps back down.
Yeah, a minute on the clock. What's the plan here from August?
It's a slow pinch. We know these guys, they take their time.
Yeah. Plant with 10 seconds left, of course.
Yeah, they always, you know, they always have an extra drone in their pocket. Their drone economy is fantastic. So when it comes down to these late rounds, the mid-round, the late round, they always have that drone left.
Thing is, have they cleared out all those roamers from down below? There's the run out from Copper, but oh, he had just missed as the head, I believe. He's going straight back out. He's really feeling it, isn't he? But Nearfighter will find Luna on the bomb site. Arnie, is he aware of the one at the window as the plant is going down now, Dev?
Oh, well, what a wall bang from Copper, straight through the couch. He's found that. Now he moves on back outside. Arnie was on that flank, but he's been taken down. It's just Copper left. He found that denial onto the plan, but really, is he good enough to find the other four? Not really much to work with here. He can run outside, but I think he'll just have to keep on running as another player rounds the corner and Ethan closes it out. August stealing on their attacks.
Yeah, wide peek there from Ethan to finish things off here. But yeah, you know, just looking at this, August are just bossing. Like they're playing pretty well flawlessly. Like,
yeah,
I honestly think the only way that you could, you know, beat an attack like that from what we're seeing from SiNister is just win some heads-up gunfights.
And August aren't giving it to him, really. Like, you know,
Yeah.
how many of those fights there, how many of the kills from August were actually heads-up gunfights? You know, that first one that August killed was the player on the bomb site, right? That was not a heads-up gunfight. That was Ethan had an angle that the player didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And I thought that was most of the story there. Like, even at the end, the only time August took a heads-up gunfight was Ethan onto Copper. And by that point, you know, it didn't really, like, Ethan had the advantage in the gunfight anyway because he knew where he was. And it didn't even matter if he lost it because there are other players to pick up the slack. So SiNister tried 2 different bomb sites. Gonna pivot over now. No success. I don't know. I'm feeling like I wouldn't be all that surprised if we actually see a 7-0. I don't think it's most likely, but it's like the way August are playing, they're just showing that level of skill.
Yeah, and you know, Coastline has been a map that they have been traditionally very strong on.
And that's one thing, you know. Even if it's not necessarily their best map at the moment, you know, individual players have comfort picks, comfort maps, comfort roles.
Do you feel that this season of Pro League we're seeing a lot more clutches than what we did last season?
I don't really know how many we saw last season, but this season, I do feel like we've seen a ton.
Yeah, and I really don't think we saw too many last season, like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 the whole season, whereas, you know, we've just seen tons already. It's a great start, though.
Makes for some exciting viewing for sure. A little bit of a swipe cut transition, courtesy of Neophyter and Fisho Guy. I love that.
I don't understand that reference.
Oh, just like a movie transition thing. It was just cool. You know, Neophyter looks to the right, and then we switch to Fisho, who's also swiping to the right, so it's a match cut between the 2 shots.
I did know it was film terminology, but I didn't understand how it related to this.
Just me being nerdy again.
All right. Something new, please, Dev.
I don't know. I'm same old, same old. So, let's see. SiNister now. No, just sitting pretty. Oh, moving too far afield. We do have quite a few roamers on this east side, but none that have met too much of August so far. It's just the 1 kill that they've found. Immaring gone down. You know, an important operator to pick, I reckon, on this bomb site with the buck. You know, that vertical potential. You know, you mentioned it before on that hookah site. You know, it works both ways. You can clear out that floor of hookah and use it to flush out those key positions looking down. That's what we'll see Ethan do.
Well, Neophyter getting a lot of information with his RED scanner. A lot of utility taken out.
Yeah, huge amount of utility. Not sure if you actually saw player below as well. So this is where we really need to see the floor open up to disable that position. SiNister, though, they do have the man advantage.
I think Luna wants to throw a C4 up, doesn't she?
She's looking for that Nomad charge. You can hear it, but she can't spot it out. A light whine of the Nomad charge. If she falls into it, yeah, you can see the Nomad charge right above her, and I don't think she'll be able to land the shot, especially not with Derper directly above her. And it looks like elsewhere, August are preparing for this execute. Ethan's, though, taken out elsewhere by Copper. Derper deciding to get aggressive, not necessary at all, and Vicious on a run out doing some serious damage. August have let this all till last minute.
Yeah, and it is all up to Diesel. Sorry, Derper is Diesel was downed. You know, SiNister, they go 3 rounds without winning something, winning a round, and then they put 1 up on the board.
Yeah, it's called the Caster's Curse. As soon as a caster calls it's going to be a 7-0, they are immediately proven wrong. So, August have maybe skipped a step there. Broken off of their confident run at the start. And SiNister finally, I guess, switching up those bomb sites really does benefit them.
Yep.
Trying up hookah for a second time didn't work out, but eventually moving on to bar. I'm surprised that they don't go kitchen, you know. Try something different again.
Is kitchen a bomb site that's in their repertoire?
That's the question. I really feel like on this map, you have to have every bomb site in your repertoire. And if anything, if you're not going to have a bomb site, it's typically bar or penthouse.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there, Dev.
But not having kitchen, you know, for a time that was the most favoured bomb site. I think overseas it may well still be, you know, in the EU Pro League. For some reason, ANZ teams seem to love hookah.
Yeah, true. Look at that. Ethan leading the charge for his team. 8 kills, Dev.
And just 4 rounds as well. That's 2 KPR. He's doing very well for his team. Leading the charge for Oddity. August, rather. It's the O, you know? Do you ever get those mixed up? I always get them mixed up. O. Also because, like, my abbreviations, when I write them down, ORG and ODD, you know, just similar kind of look, you know? Why?
Well,
August, can you just get picked up already so you can have a name that's more memorable?
yeah, make it something cool. That's my only wish.
Make sure that if you're getting picked up by an org, you know, we don't care if they treat you well or anything like that, just make sure that they have a cool name. It's the most important thing. What about Dev Marta Esports?
Dev Marta Esports?
It's just so original. I really like it.
Know,
It has a ring to it.
I think the teams would just rather remain orgless, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, how's this attack strategy going to pan out here?
Yeah, well, once again, August, you know, with such a map like Coastline, which really is quite manageable, not too large, you don't really have to all push from one place at once. You can start a little bit all over. And that's what we've got from August. They do have, however, a couple players moving in from this kitchen side, taking control of below with the buck and the IQ. They can really disable all of the utility and some of the key positions.
They are so like mechanical with their utility usage, Dev.
Yeah, I love it. Also, watching for some aggressive peaks, which we do know SiNister are familiar with. They often do. They're aware that they're being spotted from outside. There is some kind of Valkyrie camera, so Neophyter's next mission is to search for it. And you can see how aggressive SiNister are out in this balcony through guitar. That information will certainly help them out. Wow, Diesel repels all the way up just to find that camera on that AC unit. And it works. Well, I guess maybe he could have also been repelling up here to hold this angle, but he finds the camera regardless.
Well,
oh, that's a missed Capital unit.
That is Capital unit. I never heard that one, Dev.
Yeah, it was a, I don't know. I think I still had the word AC unit on my tongue. So, Diesel misses both of his fire arrows, and that's because the new way the trajectory actually falls down after a certain distance. I'm sure Diesel doesn't frequently fire them that far, but he is eventually taken out by SiNister. So things, oh wow, that was the diffuser up there. This is a huge mishap from August. Everything has fallen apart here. And I don't know if they're going to be able to salvage the round.
Yeah, I wonder if Arnie's still holding down this angle or not. Derpe has found Luna, however.
Well, he's going to have to absolutely leg it into the bomb site right now to even have a chance at getting this bomb down.
They really need to go for kills, I'm feeling. In fact, Derpe is fragging out right now.
Oh, no. What?
Bit of lag on our end, I believe.
Oh, no.
Well.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, wasn't it?
Luna's just tripping out right now. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Can we get F in the chat for the server?
I want to see the entire chat. I don't want to see any comments that aren't F.
So
I guess that round went to a SiNister then.
Yeah, like, you know the rehost rules. Like, damage has been done. In fact, it's even too far in. I'm not quite sure how that would go down. But
yeah, like even if you tried to like try and rehost that or like call that, you know, it's so hard because as you mentioned, like August had no time. They weren't getting the plant, and well, hello, g'day, mate. All right. So yeah, that's that. Obviously, some issues happening there. Looks like it didn't just stop with that I thought at first it was something to do with the repel animation.
I thought the player was lagging, actually.
Yes. Well, first thing I noticed was that Copper was halfway down a hatch and just floating in midair. It was just sitting there, and I think it was Derp, like, staring at him right in the head, and I was like, oh, that's a free kill. Wait, why doesn't he fall?
He was Looney Tunes it.
Yeah, like when in those cartoons where like they sprint off the edge and then it takes them like 5 seconds to realize they're off the edge and then they fall down.
Well, we all know that gravity doesn't affect you unless you realize that you should be falling.
Exactly. The Peter Pan cartoon taught me that.
Yeah.
I remember that, you know, Captain Hook is like sitting on there and Peter like keeps moving close to the edge and Captain Hook keeps walking backwards and then he realizes he's fallen off. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just that's here is excerpt from my childhood.
All right, so while the admins are all sorting that out and whatnot, not our
Fortunately,
problem.
we don't have to deal with that. That's not our job. We do not make the calls.
That would be a bit of a mess, I feel. But for now, let's just talk as if that round's gone to SiNister, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So 3-2. Fortunately, a few issues with the server, so we are...
I mean, realistically, that most likely was going to be SiNister's round. Like, there were a couple of kills right at the end going the way of August, but, you know, if there was anything to like, who knows, maybe Neophyter wouldn't have actually managed to press F to get that plant down fast enough. Like, it was really tight for time.
There was seconds on the clock, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think, well, he was still up there getting the diffuser with 20 seconds left or something.
It was tight.
Yeah, very, very tight. So, I don't know. At first, you know, when we saw the first 3 consecutives for August, I really was thinking this is an August game.
But what, you've changed your mind?
I don't know, like that we had that bar defense from SiNister. And at first, the way that they, you know, went from, you know, hookah, penthouse, hookah, it made me think, oh, these are their 2 main bomb sites. They don't have a lot of stake in the other ones. And if these ones aren't going to work, then surely this is the end for SiNister. And then they bring out bar, and it works. And it's a really good hold.
But sometimes it is your less practiced bomb site, and it does work.
Why would that be? Like, is it something about throwing off the opponent?
Well, yeah, that, or maybe it could be the August are unprepared to attack it as well. Or maybe because you're playing a bomb site that you're not used to as often, you are throwing caution to the wind more and playing with more confidence. Like, how many times have we spoken about confidence matters?
Yeah, and I think especially with a team like SiNister where they have Copper, who's a player, as we've said time and time again, he wants to take these fights. Like, that situation where we've seen him time and time again, like, taken out while he's sprinting away, and imagine he hadn't tried to run away. You know, you start feeling the pressure, you've been droned out maybe 2-3 times, maybe a flash grenade comes your way, you know there's a player trying to peek you, you know they're just slowly encircling you.
Yeah.
August want you to run in that situation because they're holding that rotate. Maybe Copper's better just staying. Even if he dies, they have to eventually actually peek him and push him. Maybe he can take one with him.
Throwback to the first round of Bank.
Exactly. And he did find one. He killed Ethan.
Yeah.
And it was desperate by the time they had to push their Hibana up to clear him out.
Yeah.
Hibana. That's if he lost that, then that would be so much utility.
Yeah.
So I think that's the real counter for August here.
Yeah, well, then again, they did have a lot of information about Copper's flank on that round, whereas in the round where he was stuck in Sunrise Bar, I don't think there was any real information gathering nearby, and, you know, that was exemplified by the fact that he ran right into the crosshair.
So, I know that we've talked a lot today about predicting the future of the map based on how one side goes because we think maybe, you know, oh, we'll excuse this poor performance on your attacking half because this is a defensive-sided situation. I don't know, are we feeling that so far with SiNister? Like, there's a lot of attack rounds that have gone August's way, and yet something still stalled them out in these last 2.
Well, it seems like SiNister, you know, need 3 rounds to get going. That's what we saw on Bank, and, you know, that's what we've seen so far here on Coastline.
Yeah, and I mean, SiNister, like, is it something like they've stepped up? They've got that kind of level of confidence that they didn't have in those first 3 rounds?
Perhaps it's they need a bit of time to get going. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Like, they're one of those teams that, you know, that they need that warm-up.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to have to go to a really quick break while we fix some issues, so don't go anywhere. August versus SiNister, the last map, finishing real soon. And we're back here for the Rainbow Six Pro League for ANZ. Had a bit of a tech issue, as I'm sure many of you witnessed. Lots of Fs in the chat, I'm sure, for that rehost and that round. But hey, we're back, and we got the rest of this match. So I have confirmation.
Yep.
So
still going on about it, you know, admin's problems.
yeah, we don't have to deal with that. I'm sure a lot of people kind of think that the casters make these decisions.
Yes.
No.
And we also
thankfully.
delay the starts of games and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we're filling at the start, it's just because we don't want the game to start because of you.
We want that FaceTime, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, we get paid by the minute, you know, so
that our face is on camera.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, just to reiterate on that, we rehosted on Coastline. The map that played out with that server issue does not count, 3-1 in favor of August at the moment. That said, you know, that round was looking pretty good for SiNister.
Yeah.
I think, like, we're not going to dive deep into, you know, the details of like the admin call and stuff, but like it was really like SiNister had the advantage. August just like wasted way too much time. Eventually they got the diffuser back, but then they started getting a ton of kills in the last few seconds before the round kind of like botched.
SiNister had, you know, the time advantage, whereas August had the man advantage.
Yeah, and they August were like in a decent position to potentially like get that plant down and such if like they had actually moved, but everything kind of stopped. It was like, you know that scene in one of the early Harry Potter movies where there's like the pixies everywhere and then someone like does a spell and they all freeze. It was like that. Yeah, I'm glad you get it. For once, we can be nerds together. All right, so yeah, August and SiNister, like the start of this match was really one-sided, but SiNister picked up.
Yeah, and you know that's what we saw in Map 1 as well. SiNister just, you know, start a bit cold sometimes and need to rev up their engine before they can get going, and you know, sometimes it means 3 rounds going against you.
Well, that's actually a really good parallel. I didn't realize this at the start, but yeah, August on map 1 bank, took the first 3 rounds.
And then it
on
was 4-4.
on attack, and then and then eventually it went up to 4. So but like SiNister replied with the next 2 and stuff. Like it got up close, but hey, looks could see the same pattern here. I do think that like SiNister on Penthouse, that looked like a good defense.
Yes, but the first time they tried it, no. But
No.
that last time, yes. No, I'd have to agree with you. It was very close.
And I think a large part of that was a time denial. Like I think we had the Valkyrie camera
On the roof, yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy long angle, like all the way on this roof outside. Quite an arm on the Valkyrie to land it there, and August spent so long searching for it, so long.
Didn't they have it on the IQ scanner for like ages?
I think it was a miscommunication. So the IQ spotted it early in the round, called it out. I think a player thought that they shot it or something, and then maybe they kept getting spotted. Like we can't see if they're getting spotted on a cam, but they clearly knew that there was another cam out there. We saw the IQ called out, was inside, getting rid of utility, was called back outside to find that camera.
Yeah.
And there was clearly some communication issues and some breakdowns as a result of that.
The thing is, though, is that we saw it was Diesel on the Capital climbed to the top of that with the diffuser to take out the camera, and then he got shot, leaving the diffuser all the way up over there. Like, that's a pretty big mistake there from August.
To be fair, on August's side, not only I think he was up there to take care of that camera, but he was also holding that long angle to prevent like that guitar and VIP pressure.
Yeah.
Because the reason why August wanted to get rid of that camera is because they needed to take guitar and VIP, but if the camera was still up, then SiNister would have just run out on them and had the advantage.
Yeah.
So they knew they had to clear that. Diesel was going to be the man to hold that long angle while the rest of his team moved in, but he lost that long range fight. I think there was a Rook or a Doc with an ACOG playing in VIP, and I don't know why it was Diesel to go up there, really. Maybe it was just that, Diesel, you've used your drones, or, you're not needed in this particular part of the round.
He also was the Capital, so maybe they were planning for some long-range firebolts and smokes.
Well, they actually did that. I remember now.
They tried, but they missed them.
Yeah, so Capital, with his recent change, with the expanded, area of effect that changed the propagation of the incendiary bolts. They call them incendiary bolts. What are they called? Asphyxiation bolts. It looks incendiary. It's like fire. Asphyxiation is like choking. I don't know. They actually changed the way that it's essentially bullet drop on it now. Like it used to be just a straight crossbow bolt, but now in long ranges, that you have to actually account for some of that drop, and Diesel clearly didn't.
Yeah. And do you have the exact statistics on that one, Dev? No.
No, definitely not. Go and watch a Rogue 9 video if you want to know about that. That's not my area. So yeah, we're going to be getting back into the game really shortly. It is 3-1 in favor of August, but still 2 more attacking rounds. Do you feel like this break is going to make August maybe a little bit more prompt with their time management?
I think, I thought you were going to ask me the opposite way. Like our team's going to struggle with, are they going to struggle getting back into the mindset? And my response was, I think August are a team that don't let anything really phase them. So I suppose yes. Like, I don't think their time management is bad per se. Just in that last round, they really fluffed up by taking that diffuser all the way over.
So not a lot of people would really know this, but in the last few seasons, with the introduction of the the 6-pick phase and some changes, there've actually been changes to the timers in the operator pick, reveal, 6-pick phases, and August is the one team that has consistently told me they feel like there is no longer enough time between rounds. Contrary to what you often say, Monkey, August feel like they never have enough time to talk strategy between these rounds. And now they've just had, a decent, 10-ish minute break even to discuss everything that went wrong on this attack. And I think that's going to be a huge boon for them.
Come on, Dev. Everyone knows you can't talk during a technical pause.
Yeah, of course. We have the ESL admins at everyone's house preventing them from speaking
over their shoulders. But in all seriousness, my thoughts on it. It really breaks up the game. Like I believe that probably one of the best things that could be done is online tactical pauses. That's something I'd really like to see implemented.
I feel like if we did see online tactical pauses, it'd be something August would really use and use well.
Yeah.
They're a team that their communication, for a long time, I've heard from the players and the coaches themselves, when August isn't doing well, it's because that communication is falling apart.
Yeah, and there's Arnie shut down. He was the doc, but Emo Rin will clean him up. Oops. Oh. That's the second time Derpe's done that, isn't it?
So with that kill through the floor, was that a frag grenade to down him?
Frag downed him from the sounds.
Yeah, and I wonder, you know, he typically would be the player to, you know, res himself up straight away, Arnie, with that doc, but Emo Rin cleans him up. Maybe he'd used all his stims earlier. Anyhow, it's a good first step for August, clearing out that key position on VIP that was detrimental to them last round.
A lot of time has transpired here, Dev. We've only got 1:10 left on the clock.
Yeah, I spent too much time talking about time.
Funny that.
So, still an aggressive player inside of Penthouse, not a typical position. Starting to prepare their execute here, August. The key thing is they have that VIP control and that guitar control as well. Derper on this main window does find that cheeky little lesion in Penthouse. It's a great position to move on from here now.
Ooh, cop up.
Wow! Oh my god, he just got into the windowsill and peeked outside. He didn't even have to jump out of the window to kill Derper there. That is very sneaky.
I wonder how he managed that, because yes, that is, as you said, sneaky and, you know, very nice as well. So 20 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to make their way into this bomb site here. August and Vicious is there to find Diesel to try and deny him more bullets coming on out. But I think they're in the plant spot. Another one for Vicious to find that double kill. 9 seconds on the clock. Ethan, he's going to trade him on back, and he feels like he has to plant straight away.
Oh.
Luna not looking. He's going to go down, and it is Copper from below. He might be able to deny this. No!
Oh my god!
Copper!
What a clutch from Copper! He finds the kill onto Imorin down below and denies the plant just as the timer goes to 0. What did we just witness, Monkey?
We saw Copper saying, yes, we deserve that round. And,
heck yeah, they do.
yeah, beautiful stuff from
I mean,
the
that
Jaeger player.
That was the round that was going to be so close towards of SiNister, you know, before that rehost. And then I'm sure they felt robbed when that admin call came out. What a clutch. Like, that is insane. That was a headshot.
Look how quick he was with that aim. Quick reactions. Instinctual, almost. Doesn't even think.
Yeah. I mean, like, how do you counter that from August? That was a perfect read from August. You know, they knew that the player was downstairs. They knew the information was there. They tried to escape, but there was no time. Forced to go for the plant, so they send their second player downstairs, and then Copper happens.
Well, the way you counter it, Dev, is you don't put yourself in that position in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you were harping on about how they were having time wastage issues, and, you know, I was like, I disagree, but after that one, I agree.
Yeah. Well, thanks to that round, I now have to uncross out my crossed out round. You know, the struggles that we casters face, right?
Oh, no. Just think of the ink you're wasting, Dev.
Yeah, it's not even my pen. I don't know where my pen went.
Dev and his pen issues.
I lost it.
It's alright, I've still got my four colour clicky pen.
Yep, love me a good 4-color clicky pen.
It's an Australian staple, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. True blue Aussie classic. So August now, final attack round. I reckon they want to end this half with more than just the 3. You know, even Stevens at the half is not enough, you know, in my eyes. August had such a good, you know, pick up at the start of this map, and they really want to make sure that they can lock out this 3 points at the end of the day. And SiNister are definitely demonstrating that they have what it takes to steal a few away.
We're seeing every bomb site from SiNister, by the way, as Kitchen is their 4th choice.
Yep. Finally.
Around the world.
Yep. Used correctly. Before Monkey Fists tries to hum anymore, I'm going to start talking.
I was going to say, you know, Daft Punk.
Not really.
Around the world?
Yeah, not really.
No?
Sorry.
All
right.
I see you are not a man of culture, Dev.
Yeah, apparently not. All right. So at the moment, it's pretty slow going. That pulse being detected out by Neophyter. But you know, what really are they going to do about it? So much information being gathered right now. He's just the watcher on the walls. Doesn't have that, you know, the ability to affect any of this, but he can get that information. It's vertical play now for Emo Rin with this buck trying to disable some of these key positions. He has 2 frag grenades he could make good use of as
that's
well.
a great kill.
The angle, oh, just lands enough bullets.
Looks like we're going to see some more of that electronic utility seen by Neofighter. He's no longer playing guess what it is by the way it moves.
Ethan as well assisting with this vertical play. You can see SiNister have a lot of presence elsewhere on the map. You know, August haven't really contested the greater extent of this map. SiNister are waiting to have these opportunities for flanks and such, but there is that nomad charge on that main double door. August almost wants someone to run out, but the thing is, if SiNister send 2 people out, they may still find a frag. Copper with the first kill in this round. That's a huge amount of utility gone now from Diesel.
Yeah, and that's the diffuser drop just outside the kitchen door, of course.
This is still looking pretty good for SiNister. There's another classic moment of August and the timer.
30 seconds and there's still the Echo up. He is at a distance, or I think he's been spotted actually in the lobby.
Neo knows if he can kill this Echo player, then he doesn't have to worry about those drones.
15 seconds, they really need to go here. Looks like that's going to happen. Derpe going to start the plant. Surely we've got the Echo nearby. If he's got any drones up, no one's covering.
What?
We're going to see,
Come on.
Vicious just peek around. That's the round. 3-3, Dev.
What was that? I mean, we just looked at August setup, and then about 50 seconds left on the clock. One player dies, and then they think about going for a plant, and then 30 seconds later, they go for a plant, and they're not even covering it. SiNister denies that. Copper's got his Ash license.
Are you face palming your face right now?
I am. I face palm my face with my palm.
Well, looks like August want to start off in the bars, Dev. After that one, I think they do need a drink to calm the nerves.
Yeah, and look, this is a bomb site which, of all the teams, as you mentioned, I think earlier, August has been one to adopt this. You know, Coastline was a staple for August back in the day, and Blue Bar was certainly the bomb site that we saw them bring out a lot to great effect. I think that they'll be, you know, they've also have a really good kitchen hold as well. So I feel like their kitchen and bar should be guaranteed wins on this defense. I still think a draw is on the cards here, and if I believed that August were an emotional team, then I think that SiNister had a possibility for a win here, but I know August keep their nerves still.
Yeah.
And I think that we are probably looking at a draw as best case scenario for SiNister. Still, that's not bad, right?
I think that's what I also put in for predictions.
Really?
Yeah, I
think
said August win and a draw.
anything for August less than 2 wins here is an upset in my eyes.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
You reckon that SiNister can upset August? They did it last season at the start of the Pro League,
Yeah.
winning a whole map.
And also, you know, I was talking to you about the Neofighter situation, like how is he slotting in, but honestly, he's been doing quite well.
Yeah, August have definitely, I mean, Neo in particular in this map has been a standout for me, but you know, August as a whole, since Neo joined the roster, it has taken some time to readjust the roles of the entire roster to accommodate him. Joey very much was a stable support flex player on defense and a, you know, anchor rock of a smoke player on defense. Sorry, did I say attack when I was talking anchor flex? Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Oh,
There's an
Copper.
early pick. Copper doing absolute wonders right here. Imarin off the table nice and early. Mozzie down. Looks like he's making good use of that R4C in his hands.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the rare moments we've seen a member from August get caught off guard, isn't it, Dev?
Yeah, that's right. And if anything, it looked more similar to what we saw on SiNister's defense when Copper was roaming.
Yeah.
That said, using his brain again, Ethan finds that pick with the C4 on Arnie. Not a big fragger necessarily for SiNister though.
Well, minute and a half on the clock. August need to start, sorry, SiNister need to start making some moves. It looks like they've gained control mostly of above, but I think they are very worried about any C4s and such through the floor, which is what sent Arnie to his early demise.
I mean, it's so hard to take control of this blue stairs properly, especially as Diesel has that shotgun. A lot of utility can be wasted now from Fisher Guy. Why is he not destroying the ADSs?
I think he's hoping to find, you know, someone moving around with a pulse scanner and the like.
Hard to dodge the bars there. See something in that corner. Default cam as well. 55 seconds on the clock. August sitting pretty near and around the bomb site.
Yeah, very slow from SiNister. Like, you know, they've spent, what, a minute doing not much at all.
And Derpes so far away from the bomb site as well. If he can't use his utility to deny this plant, he'll be so far away from actually having an impact, except he has that really cheeky angle all the way into blue bar. My goodness, what an angle from Kitchen.
So is that perhaps designed to help deny plant when they try and stick it behind the bar there?
Yeah, that's a great angle, but Derpes spotted out. He takes down Copper, his position now revealed, but meanwhile, kills go out back and forth. Just 10 seconds left on the clock now. SiNister only have 2 players, and far away from the bomb site. Vicious wants to go for this plant. Luna whiffing all of her shots here. Vicious has no support, and he's taken down. Luna may well find that kill, but it's just too late. August do secure that defense round and open up this half.
Yeah, SiNister just a bit too spread out towards the end there. They, of course, had access to the bomb site, but they just didn't make a move on it early enough. August want to go to the hookah bomb site this time.
Yeah, and I guess touching on something that you said on Bank, you were asking, you know, you wanted to know the stat of, you know, when there was an opening kill for one team, you know, which team would then win the round? You know, how much did that then convert? And that's a great example of where SiNister did a great job to find Imarin as the first pick, and it did not convert. August have that level of sophistication in their strategies, and I think that the key thing for me is, you know, SiNister were cutting off rotations for a long amount of time, waiting for an August player to get ants in their pants, and August, the individuals on that roster, had that trust in one another and trust in their strategy and that patience to just wait for SiNister to make a wrong move.
Yeah, well, SiNister going with the Ash Dev. Any, you know, more couples on it last round?
Yeah. Look, didn't we ask Ippy Style about this the other day, and he said it was just because you can frag on Ash like you can't on some other operators. What else would Copper be playing? He was playing the IQ before, and I think that IQ really needs to, you know, her utility really needs to be utilized. We saw Fisho guy, you know, spending quite a lot of time using that utility last round, so Fisho can do that. Let Copper have the Ash so he can just focus on the entry and not so much on that gadgetry denial. He has some utility, which, you know, that Ash Charger and the stun grenades can certainly help you out in the pinch as well. Very versatile.
Well, looks like SiNister trying to take from the east side of the map. And they spent 40 seconds doing this, Dev.
Yeah, not too much time though. Like, this is making pretty good time. And here's that versatility of that Ash kit. One flashbang will will detect whether there is an ADS to catch those breaching rounds, and due to it not being caught, he knows he can destroy that Maestro camera. I assume there was a Maestro camera there. I didn't actually see it, but I just assumed that's what he was destroying with the Ash Charge.
Yeah, well, my first thought was he's opening up an angle on the wall next to it, but no, he aimed at the reinforced wall, so...
Exactly.
I'm with you on that one, Dev.
My thoughts exactly, Monkey. So here, a great example of the IQ using her utility. And something that, you know, Copper, who's not in positions where he's able to do it like Fisho can. Copper really wants to just be playing that Ash instead. Imarin, the player to most likely be moving solo. He does get droned out, so he immediately rotates back to Cool Vibes to help support Derp.
It's been another... Sorry to cut you off. It's been another minute, and still SiNister have done not much.
I mean, that's how I felt about both of these teams' attacks. You know, August, we kept saying, very, very poor time management. But what have SiNister gained in the last minute? Some information? Enough information?
It's more of, I don't think they've been, you know, forcing their opponents out of any positions, or Arnie almost hitting that shot. close.
It really, the fact that we can see the diffuser still outside just marks that SiNister aren't quite sure where they're moving. And
Oh no.
Diesel winning the vertical fight onto Luna. That shotgun proving to best her. He's taken a lot of damage for it. SiNister 20 seconds to go, and I don't think that they're prepared here. It'll be a desperate attempt. Copper goes down. A key fragger off the board. 15 seconds remain. Diesel's actually been on the floor now, but Fisher Guy can't find the entry he needs. Arnie's going to file on through the same door. A bloodbath. He may well find the first kill, but there's not enough ammunition in the gun for the second. Vicious, where'd you come from? He finds one, but there's just too many more players to find. No diffuser in hand. And August hold tight on their positions and win the round on time.
Well, I don't know, Dev. SiNister had no idea what they were doing there.
I agree with you. Like, how much time did they spend and accomplish basically nothing? Like, we had almost a minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes, where it was a little bit of droning, you know, no actual direct pressure, just kind of cutting off some rotations, you know, Arnie in Aquarium. And then, oh no, damn it, there's 20 seconds left, let's all run in.
Yeah, they had to go for a bit of a YOLO strat, didn't they? And the thing is, because they left it so late, they all pushed in one by one, really. It wasn't like it was a concentrated execute. Like, if you can't get anything going for you, there's no problem everyone stacking up and executing. But the thing is, you have to do it together.
Imagine if they had done that all together with 1 minute left on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that. Vicious pushing in from the hallway, 2 players in from hookah, Arnie maybe from, even from Aquarium if he was still able over there. I reckon, you know, you're going to lose a couple players, but hey, it's, you know, it's a YOLO strat. It's never perfect.
Yeah, like at that point, you might as well just rush. Like, I think that's why a rush can be so effective, right? Because everyone commits to it. And
yeah,
I think that's one of the most important things that we don't, you know, we don't see enough of.
You know what's a classic is when you have like, you know, a rush where one person decides to rush, they get on the bomb site, they get 1 kill, maybe 2 kills, and then they're gone. And then the rest of the team can just like, you know, sit, wait, do the rest of the round, what have you. And, you know, I agree, it's the teamwork, the commit as a team, as a unit. You know, always for that refrag. That's really what makes the difference.
Although, we don't really see a rush too much at this level, do we?
I have some memories of, what was it, Mantis versus Cloud9 now.
I want to say it was Nora Rango, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Man, that was an old match, but that was a classic. I remember that was clipped so much. That was amazing. Anywho, it's Penthouse for the 3rd defense at August. I always find it fascinating to see the rotations of the bomb site choices from teams on this map. You know, we started off for SiNister, and they chose Hookah, then Penthouse, and then eventually Bar. Here, August started off on Bar, moved to Hookah, now go Penthouse. You know, Kitchen, the least favored for both of these teams. To my serious surprise.
Well, on a map where all bomb sites are, you know, possible, Dev, I think, you know, you just got to say preference.
Yeah. Maybe depending on operator bans. Oh, okay. Nice angle from VIP. This really has become meta recently. An ACOG in VIP makes the dream work. So many ACOGs for August this round, 3 in fact. Ether doesn't need one to get the job done for him. MPX will do the job. Luna, though, does eventually cut off him at the head.
This is just a wild round now, Dev. Like,
yeah, a lot of early gunfights. Imarin finds that one.
And it is gunfights, isn't it? It's 1v1s. We're not seeing trades at all.
No. That said, SiNister is trying to pinch. I think August is just, you know, they've had players on these flanks eventually getting traded, but it's an attempt at a pinch from SiNister, and August are turning it into a brawl. 50 seconds with 2 players left. Like, I don't know. How do you make that work? Too many angles to deal with.
At least they've given Luna plenty of time to try and clutch here.
Exactly. 45 seconds. Step up.
Well, we are about to be looking down the barrel of match point here. There is a Maestro camera right next to us, so they're well aware.
She can destroy that.
Of where she is.
30 seconds.
Drone also pinging her out.
Aussie drone, what a pest. Oh, surely she'll lose this fight. There you go. She goes down. The drone, just to make it even more of a tease. Diesel finishes that off. August guarantee themselves that draw at minimum, but it's looking like they're going to go home today with that 6 points.
Would have to agree with you as we do hit that match point. Kind of how we really expected here, isn't it, Dev?
Yeah, well, in fact, this map has been, it feels more drawn out because we did have that technical issue in the rehost, but, this is more one-sided on paper than the previous map. 7-4 on bank. August had some good attacks and closed it out with their defensive half, where SiNister had something to say, but August did, they were the dominant ones on bank, and I think that was fairly consistent throughout the game. Here on Coastline, especially since switching over to their defense, August has been unstoppable.
Yes, 3 in a row. That's how August started it off, and that's how they've compounded it later on.
Are we going to see any kind of fight back here, or is this going to close out 7-3? Because SiNister have attacked this bomb site once before. This bar, it was the first defense August found, and SiNister didn't really have a lot to say about it. In the end, they actually just lost because Luna was the last man standing far away from the bomb site, and there's no time.
It was a lot better than the hookah, though, to be fair, Dev.
Yeah, I agree. Their hookah, they did almost nothing. So, SiNister do have a chance here. Important to note, we talked the other day a little bit about the Fnatic match. We talked about the term saving strats, about how Fnatic want to make sure that they don't reveal everything against teams that they think they will win. But when playing against teams that they think they will win, even if they, don't show their entire strat book, they want to make sure that they don't reveal their entire strat book. So when it gets to the harder games, they have more things to pull out. And, people say that about Fnatic. They don't often say it about August, but I know for a fact that August have a good kitchen defense, and they haven't been forced onto it yet. They're sitting pretty with their current defensive rounds, and they don't need to change up that side. They don't need to show that off to other teams who could potentially counter-strat that for future matches against Fnatic or the other opponents.
I think when people talk about saving strats, it's normally as an excuse for why you lost, though, Dev.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah, they only lost because they were trying to save their strats.
I think that when fans say that the team is saving strats, then yes. When teams say they're saving strats, they're sometimes trolling, but I don't always think that. Sometimes they are, it's legitimately part of the long game, Yeah. This is the Pro League. It's just playday number 4, and then we've got 13 playdays. And then at the end of that, if you're good enough, if you make top 2, you go to the APAC finals. You make top 2 out of that single elimination bracket, you go to the global finals in Tokoname, Japan. And that's the real goal. Make number 1 in that. You're doing pretty good, all right? I think you can take a break. But, that's what we're all heading towards here. August have made it to that APAC finals several times in a row. More times than I can count, they've been to these LAN events, and they've never quite made it that next step forward to an international event. That's certainly on their mind. Even while they play these normal Pro League playdays.
Well, that's cheeky, isn't it? Valkyrie camera all the way up in the little drone drop down. Copper's going to send down those flashbangs, but Ethan's going to find Fisher Guy. Fisher looks like he's also taking quite a lot of damage, and Ethan.
Oh no, what a good shot from Arnie. Not sure whether that was just the intention there to spray it down or whether he did in fact see Ethan. May well have been a pre-fire, but Ethan stood no chance in that encounter.
Either way, Ethan's not going to be complaining about that, but 45 seconds, SiNister, I think they've realized they've had to speed it up, and they are going a lot faster. They're looking like they're almost ready to go for the plant, Dev.
Yeah, this is good time management here. My question is, there's no smoke on the board. That operator's been banned. Is there a Maestro? Oh, that flashbang could mean the death of them, but Neophyte is not flashed. Both him and Diesel very close to each other. Diesel's dedicated to holding the stairs. Gets that shot onto Copper. However, we do have Neophyter on the floor. Arnie putting down this diffuser now. Imarin knows he needs to make a play, but this player on his window, he's going to get tagged up. Doesn't fall, though. Not yet, anyhow. Neophyter's back up again. A C4 throw now, but there's no player on that bomb diffuser any longer.
Yeah, Imarin very lucky to be alive, and somehow, I don't know how Vicious has been down from that range. Arnie to finally clean up. There, Imorin finally finished off by Luna, so just up to Derpate. Fighting for the W here in a 1v3 clutch. He's seen the foot.
No
I
time.
like that, but
No
yes.
Yeah, it was a nice peek there. You know, looking for the foot, as that's what's most exposed. And then pre-firing the body. Looks that cute bit of QE action. Hey, looks like SiNister will at least do as well as they did on map number 1. They earn a 4th round here. Still match point though for Orgless. Best SiNister can do here is a draw.
Once again, I think it's come down to the fact that SiNister lose 3 in a row to kick things off. Like,
yeah, and that's something that we talked about in their match last week, right, against Oddity. You know, they map number 1 bank, and Oddity takes it 7-0. Map number 2 Clubhouse, and they almost took the entire, like, they almost took the map. It was a 6-6 draw at the end of it, which was only just barely stolen by Oddity. You know, with that first set of games against Oddity, I think SiNister really are in a position where they can't forfeit many more points. You know, they need to keep raking them in every week, even if they're against Orgless. A draw here would be one step towards retaining their spot in the Pro League at the final standings, not being forced into that 7th or 8th spot, or even on the cards is still that land position. At this stage, anything's possible. Top 2. It's the dream for SiNister, but never say never.
all right, JB. He's giving me a cheeky grin right now. You can't.
I'm always giving you a cheeky grin, and you love it.
Oh yeah.
That's an interesting deployment of barbed wire. I don't often see that. Like, you know, okay, the idea here is that one piece of barbed wire in the middle, you can sneak past it on either side, or one side, you know, if it's slightly more to one side or the other. The critique of putting barbed wire like this is that you can smack both pieces at once with just a knife in the middle. So it only takes 2 hits to get rid of 2 pieces of barbed wire. But for Neophyter, it's completely worth it because there is no way to sneak past that without either destroying it or making some noise.
Yeah, I believe they call that a double serving of spaghetti.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you go to the restaurant, excuse me, I'd like to supersize that spaghetti.
Dev would know he loves his spaghetti.
Yeah, I actually had spaghetti for dinner last night. There you go. Fisher guy with that first pick. Ethan playing very aggressive through guitar. You know, that's not the side of the map where the bombs are, but he decided to play aggressive, took a leaf out of Copper's playbook, and it just didn't work. Whoa! Oh. Speaking of aggression, g'day there.
Diesel pops his head on out and, you know, pops Vicious's.
So that's a good way to even it up, and a lot of utility in those Twitch drones these days. You know, very versatile, can take out, you know, mute jammers, potentially even the Mozzie pests, and most importantly, those evil eyes. And that's all off the table now. Neophyte has a great shield position as well inside a pool here. He can aggressively peek towards VIP, and that barbed wire he's deployed will mean that he'll have a great position in any gunfight. He'll have all the information he needs to peek that hallway.
Well, if you remember last time SiNister attacked here, Dev, it was a whole lot of no strategy. And, you know, it looks like they might be doing something similar. At least they're grouping up earlier this time. I think they might just try and, you know, doggy pile on into this site.
Look, if you're going to do that, better doing it with a minute left instead of 10 seconds left.
Ooh, Diesel. Although now they've all spread out, haven't they?
What's the play for SiNister? Pick one thing and do it. You know, you can't half-ass one thing. You got a whole-ass a whole thing. I messed it up. You can't half-ass 2 things. Got a whole-ass one thing.
Well, yes, I agree.
Still, there was a player inside of Aquarium.
Timing.
It's just like no time to really flush this out. You know, where is the util? Just to come out, flush out these positions. Okay, Neo goes down. That's a good pick. It's a dock as well. That's the main position to counter that VIP push.
Oh, Imo Rin, surely he heard the jump in behind him. No, he didn't. Arnie's going to find him for free. Diesel is the last one standing after Derpe goes down. 27 seconds, no time to do anything because Diesel's dead.
Wow, that was certainly a hard salvage from SiNister. There was no way I thought that was going their way, but you know, it all started when Neophyter peaked and lost that gunfight. You know, his job really as the doc there is to peak, but I think maybe a little bit of a risk aiming towards that Aquarium side. That SiNister rotation did work out perfectly for them in the end. Also, Imorin downstairs attempting that vertical play, revealed his position by ripping that C4, but you know, he really ideally should have heard that jump in. What do you reckon? Is this possible?
I think so.
You're on the SiNister bandwagon?
I'm on the SiNister bandwagon,
What
baby.
what was your prediction coming into this match?
Well, that was it. Draw for SiNister and, you know, win for August.
All right, well, once again, it's a question of which of us is going to have the correct prediction, I guess.
Thing is, they have gone Penthouse, which is the bomb site that August did win.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You know, they haven't lost this one yet. But mind you, they won Bar, and then Hookah, and then Penthouse, and then they lost Bar, and then lost Hookah. What are they going to lose next?
Let's hope Penthouse.
Let's hope.
Well, okay, for my predictions, let's hope Penthouse.
SiNister certainly hoping. I guess that just goes to show that it's not just the fact that they have a good defense on these specific bomb sites, but SiNister are stepping up their game. Now, August on this Penthouse defense, whipping out the cogs.
Cogs.
The 3A cogs. And look, in the last round, that tendency to peek is what really opened up the round for SiNister as Neophyter was picked off. Let's hope his aim is on point this round and that doesn't happen again.
Well, we've got the Legigan brothers. What's brothers in French, Dev?
I do not know.
You said your sister speaks French?
Yeah,
So
doesn't
surely
mean
you
I speak French
too. Legigan brothers. Legigan bros.
Yeah, let's just do that one.
It's like Super Mario Bros, but Super Legigan Bros.
You know, learning a language isn't contagious. Like, just because you're related to someone doesn't mean you know the same language.
But surely she calls you my brother.
Not in French.
Last round, let's focus. We can joke around after this.
Yeah, and you can see this aggressive peeking from Neo. They've got that information outside. You know, so many information operators here. The Doc with the bulletproof cam, the 2 Maestros, those 3 Valk cams, and of course the potential for 3 hacked drones. Oh, what an angle from Vicious. Like, no way an August player is going to win that fight.
Well, if you remember, it was Fisher guy who was repelling as the Gridlock, who got completely shut down from this position by Derpate. So I wonder how ready SiNister are going to be for similar aggression and angles. Is he going to pop his head up? That's the question. Guess not. Successfully army crawled his way across.
Yeah, we may well see the Capital bolts to flush out his key positions, but I don't think Derp is in too poor of a spot at the moment. He's not actually in that corner, which is where it's been fried up. So he gets away scot-free. Oh, good grenade, though, through the floor. I assume that's Luna downstairs. That'll be droned out, so that's a great start for SiNister.
Was that the Doc missed as well?
I think you might be right. It's a dead man now, just Neophyter with the ACOG. He doesn't land enough shots into Fisho. Taken very low, but that's just not enough. Fisho still has some serious possibility here. And eventually Neophyter gets taken out from below by Luna.
5-on-3, Dev Marta, 47 seconds on the clock.
Oh.
This is definitely possible here. Imorin to find Luna down below, however, to bring one back, but it is still a SiNister man advantage.
The dream is well and truly alive. Ethan jumps outside, but that's a Claymore to find him. A huge risk that he took, and it's not going to pay off. Just Diesel and Imorin. Imorin in a gunfight taking all this damage. Just Diesel left for Auglis. SiNister want to salvage this, get their point on the board for tonight, and it's all up to the support from Auglis to make sure that can't happen. Takes out that first kill, but this will have to be a monster of a clutch. Looking for this second one with the Elder. May well land enough damage. That's very, very low HP there for Vicious and Fisho. The bomb goes down.
Yeah, time against him now. Oh, they're thinking about going for this revive, but I think they've changed their mind. And look at the...
It's a huge risk.
Especially with the amount of HP here. Oh, it's on a knife edge, isn't it here? Dev Marta.
Oh my god!
He could do this. This is the one-on-one now. He's going to find the downplay, but Copper's going to peak at the perfect time. And we have got SiNister coming back to draw after being 6-3 down.
Penthouse, finally a victory for SiNister. August 1-3, all their bomb sites, and then SiNister came back and did the exact same thing straight back at them. What a game for SiNister, and what an attempted clutch for Diesel, leading the way for his team as a support player. But it's SiNister who deserve the spotlight right now for coming back to a draw.
Yes, my predictions.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, I got bank right, so you can have this one.
All right, fair enough.
Look at that, a draw. Isn't it just so unrewarding to see no logos up there? We just see both logos up there. You know, credit to both of these teams.
Look,
right?
they got to earn it, Dev. That's my thoughts in that one.
That's all right. And I think that, you know, when you have a draw like this, like, no one finishes a draw feeling satisfied, unless if maybe it's an upset, I guess, but...
Like, I think, you know, in SiNister's minds would be like, great work.
Yeah, we
Like,
salvaged that.
We managed to pull something back from that. They were 6-3 down. They were 3-0 down to start off with. Like, it's, great from them.
Yeah, in fact, I just realized both of those halves went the same way. It was August 1, 2, 3, SiNister 4, 5, 6, and then same thing in the second half as well.
Nice and even, isn't it?
It's a nice little pattern. You know, I guess that just goes to show, you know, SiNister, sometimes they take a little bit of a while to wake up, but it seems like the longer the match that they play, the more that they're likely to get it in their favor. Happened last week with Oddity, right? 7-0 loss on the first map, 6-6 draw on the second map.
So, are we seeing here SiNister sometimes struggle with the mental game and then sometimes boss the mental game? Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, maybe are these guys doing a warm-up scrim before their match? A lot of teams do that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if not, maybe that would help, because it's like, oh, we've already played one comp game. Move on now, on to like the next one. You know, you get that warm up already. You know, it's one thing to do like aim training warm ups, which I know the SiNister guys are a huge fan of, but that just is not the same thing as playing the game.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, just tapping your head is not all that you have to do in Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
you know.
In fact, like when SiNister are losing, it's not because they're not tapping heads. It's not because they're not like they're losing gunfights. It's because August have control. They have the information, and they have the the sway of the rounds. And SiNister, by the end of it, my goodness, they turned up the heat quite literally on that VIP hold.
Yeah.
And it was really great to see.
Yeah, and I really feel like in those final 3 rounds, August were not performing as well themselves. Like, it's...
But what was it?
I don't know. It's just... It's hard to... You know, I could say that they just weren't performing as well, or SiNister were performing a lot better, and I think both would probably sound about right. So I think it's a bit of both.
If there's anything I saw for August in those last few rounds, it was that the players who were in positions where they needed to be winning gunfights, so that was the Doc and the Rook, you know, these guys, you put them there because they're going to contest long angles. They just weren't winning gunfights, so they weren't taking gunfights, you know. They were allowed to be flushed out eventually without getting a pick.
Yeah.
And maybe that came down to confidence, you know. August started to feel it slipping away.
Yeah, potentially, but then again, this is August, one of the teams that, you know, we say are pretty robotic. Like, you know, they don't normally let those kind of things get into their heads.
Yeah, but we have seen it before. Like, as much as August can be that team, you know, it does fall that way sometimes. A bit of a mirrored scoreline today with our matches, starting and finishing with a draw with some wins in the middle.
Yeah, also we had the exact same maps, Dev, as well. It was Bank Coastline for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's true. Bank and Coastline, seen plenty of them recently. So, Monkey, when are we going to see Cafe?
I don't know, but it better be soon. You know, I'm going to have some stern words with some of these teams.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, what was the highlight for you? Like, let's say for SiNister, you know, what can we take away? Maybe their first debut in this Pro League this season wasn't so great with that 0-7 to Oddity, but, you know, is it looking up for the rest of the season?
Of course. You know, if you can come back to draw against the undisputed second best team in ANZ, you know, with Fnatic being the best team, of course you're doing a lot better, Dev. Like, you're putting up the numbers. Like, this squad, August, that SiNister managed to draw with, beat Fnatic on LAN, what was it, 2 months ago, 1 month ago?
Yeah. Yeah, and look, that's where they're sitting at the moment. Despite that draw, they're still right up the top with Fnatic.
Yeah.
You know, this could very well be how the season plays out.
I don't think we'll see Zealous that high.
I think 5 to 8 needs a bit of work. But otherwise, top four, that could be how we're going to end up. And look, like Oddity and Mindfreak, they are literally 1 round different. That is what's separating 3rd and 4th place right now, and I think that's actually going to continue to be the trend for the rest of the season.
Well, isn't that how it went the other day? It was 1 map, and it was a 1 round difference between them, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Well, very close games so far between some of these teams. How do you feel that, we're pretty happy with this top end. How do you feel that the bottom end's going to change before the rest of the season? Maybe SiNister in particular after seeing them today?
I reckon SiNister, at a minimum, are going to be 5th. Especially after that performance we saw against August. That is, of course, assuming they can play to the level we expect or what we've seen from them.
I think SiNister are a team who, when they're at their best, they can be certainly a contender for top 4. But the problem is consistency. And sometimes, I'm having the same thoughts about Mindfreak at the moment. The other day they lost out to Power Plays in the Raleigh qualifiers. Power Plays haven't yet won a game in Pro League. SiNister and Mindfreak, I think that's where the real story is for that 4th place. Oddity's also in the fight there too. Mindfreak, Oddity, and SiNister, I think that's the serious middle pack.
Yeah, well, I think, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who can win against each other and then who can beat the top dogs here, August or Fnatic. And, SiNister getting a draw, I think, is a pretty good point in their favour. Yeah,
I agree with that. Last season, they got a win, though. So, they got 5th or 6th last season, I believe, because it was Mindfreak 4, Oddity 5, and then SiNister 6. So, I guess they're still on a trajectory for an upgrade this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my numbers are wrong then. I think all of them should just be one higher on the standings.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they were 5th.
Yeah, one higher on the standings from what I just said. But yeah, you mentioned that, you think it's going to be how they play against each other and how they're going to play against the top dogs, August and Fnatic. What about the bottom teams? I think that, with Mindfreak losing to Power Plays the other day in the Raleigh quals, if that happens then in this season as well, that's going to be some serious points dropped.
The thing is, if a team is better on paper, we should be assuming that they're going to take that one out. Of course, Dev, if you're losing against the top teams, you're losing against the bottom teams, and you're also losing against your rivals.
You are the bottom teams.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what SiNister have to say for themselves. It's time for an interview with Tex, a.k.a. Copper and Back. G'day, Copper. How you feeling tonight? Oh, my goodness, it's great to see that jersey. Well done, by the way, on that game, 6-6.
Thank you. We hoped to get a win, but oh well. We came out with a tie, which we're happy with. We slipped up a little few too many talents on bank, but a tie's a tie at least.
Yeah, well, I actually had some nitty-gritty questions. It feels like a long time ago bank right now, but I just had a question about a particular thing that I saw from Zafir playing on that downstairs attack. When the August players had their C4 pre-ripped in the red hallway, I noticed a Zafir charge go in, and that actually countered the animation, put the C4 back in the pocket. Was that a deliberate thing, or was that kind of just utility spam?
A little bit of both. The first one was just kind of just throw it in. And then we were just like, wait a second, we can time this and get plant. So then we timed it. So yeah, it was a little bit of both. So it worked out nicely there, yeah.
Best time to learn is in your official Pro League matches. How about that?
Well, you guys are, of course, recently signed under SiNister. Do you want to maybe give our international viewers maybe a bit of a history with your team and, yourself as a player?
Yeah, sure. With this team, I've been with some of the players for maybe even a year and a half, maybe, just kind of being around them, not on the core roster until I turned 18 recently. But we've always kind of been sitting around that 5th place, which we're not happy with at all. We want to be breaking into that top 4, maybe in the future even top 2. It's just, the problem, like you guys said earlier, is the inconsistency of it that we have sometimes, and just carrying over kind of everything that we've been practicing and just having all the preparation there. But yeah, we've shown really good results in the past, and then we'll fall off towards the end of the season against teams we shouldn't lose against, and that's what's been getting us 5th place. So hopefully this season we get all the teams, we get the 2-0s that we need, and contest the people like August, Fnatic, like we did today. Today we were hoping for better results, but it is what it is. But yeah.
I still think it was a absolutely great effort to tie up, especially since you were down, first half 0-3, and then second half you were down 3 rounds as well. So it makes me wonder, with last week you had a rough performance in your first game and then moved up better for the second. Is that a trend that you guys are noticing? Longer games, or the longer you spend playing against a team, is there kind of some kind of counter strategy that comes out? Because you seem to perform better the longer you play against the team.
Yeah, sometimes it's also almost like we're learning from our mistakes. and what we've voted isn't completely what they're doing. Like, for example, August today, we expected them to ban Hibana on Bank, but then they banned Lion, and Hibana's up. And that really changed the way they attacked and the way I voted them. It just kind of was a little bit iffy. They still played the same positions and same pushes. It just kind of got a lot more utility for them. Sorry, what was the question again? I forgot the initial
It was
question.
basically just like about these long games. Is that something that you think will help out? And I guess moving on, like with that, is that maybe an advantage that you'll have in formats with the best of 3, for example, 6 Masters?
Yeah, I think so. Like, our mentality usually is pretty strong the longer it goes on. None of us are getting tilted. None of us are getting mad, or we're all making sure we're on top of our game. Drinking water, biggest tip I can give to anyone: drink a lot of water when you're playing. But yeah, like if anyone is getting tilted, we're always supporting each other. And when it is these best of 2s or like 2 best of 1s, generally, even with that already game we got 7-0'd, it was still like, all right, come on guys, we can't do any worse, let's try to prove ourselves and get the win. So,
Perfect attitude.
All right, so you guys banned Castle and Smoke on both maps. Both times on defense. Can you give me a bit of your thought process on both of those bans?
Sure. So for the castle ban on Bank, so when I was voting them, I saw with their tellers defense and with their CEO defense, a lot of what they do involves castle and anchoring a player in front desk, and kind of just having that freedom of just sitting on cams, using the long angles with ACOGs. So we decided, all right, let's get rid of that comfortability and try just absolute parade them with bullets through the soft windows. So that was the whole castle idea. And with Smoke, it was kind of just to counterban Diesel a little bit, give him a little bit of an ego, because he is a nuts player, a nuts Smoke player. And we hoped that it would kind of allow us to hopefully, towards the end, if we were stalling out, stand a better chance, and also kind of just mess up some of their defense setups. But mainly it was just kind of, ban it because, it's overall, it won't affect us too much, and it hopefully affected them more.
I like that. You're trying to counterban Diesel, and then he almost like 1vx's you guys at the end. But, great job to come back from that. While we wrap up, I just thought maybe you could tell people really briefly, especially, new viewers and your international fans, about what this new org is doing for you. And if you want to say anything as a thank you to your new organization, Team SiNister, or your fans supporting you at home or overseas, go for it.
Well, firstly, massive thank you to anyone that's spectating over in NA. That they're waking up early in the morning to watch this, and I probably wouldn't be doing that myself. So big thank you. Love the support from all of you. Relative to what the org's doing for us, they're really just supporting us like monetary and kind of just giving us those foundations so we can put more time into it, put more effort, and it's a good motivation booster to try to push us through the season and do better and better and better. Other than that, yeah, I mean, they're also giving us a lot of gamer subs and these little SiNister shaker cups. Honestly, there's a great energy we've been using at scrims, everything. It keeps us going, keeps us energized. Shameless plug. Go buy some gamer subs.
Love it. All right. Thank you very much for the interview tonight. Very well played tonight, and good luck on the weekend with 6 Masters and next week in the Pro League.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
That was nice.
I think I like that he's very honest. I probably wouldn't be getting up at this time to watch me play.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And I'm like, that's a serious commitment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Team SiNister, for those who aren't aware, that organization has been in Rainbow Six for quite some time, has had North American rosters that are not in the Pro League. And so there are probably, there's a bit of already a brand awareness over there. Like, teams know the name SiNister. Like, people know that name. And yeah, so now they're here as well.
Yeah, well, I really feel like a lot of our international viewers might not even understand like how big of a takedown, or the fact that they were able to get a draw is on the board for that roster.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And also the fact that we do have a bit of a contrast here. We've got one orgless team that doesn't have any support whatsoever, and another team that's just been picked up by a North American organization. Maybe a lot of international viewers don't realize the significance of that as well. In our region at ANZ, teams and players don't really have much support to dedicate a lot of time. They're all most of them are running, studies or part-time or full-time loads or a mixture of multiple of those things.
Yeah.
At the same time, while scrimming, 6 hours a night sometimes.
It's wild out there.
It's crazy. Anyhow, let's have a talk to the Orgless player, Diesel. G'day, Diesel. Fantastic to have you tonight, and congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you. Hey guys, cheers.
So I thought we didn't have you last week, unfortunately, on the interview. So maybe just an opportunity for you, especially as a team that's has had really great results, but not necessarily a lot of overseas experience. Why don't you tell us about yourself as a player joining the team, and also the roster history as a whole for any viewers out there, maybe from overseas, who aren't as familiar with Orgless.
Yeah, sure, no worries. So basically, I joined the roster around 4 months ago. I just turned 18 and I was on another Pro League team in ANZ called Taboo. And at the halfway point in the season, at the transfer period, I got in contact with Ethan, and thankfully the guys gave me an opportunity to play in this roster. And from there we went to APAC Pro League finals. And kind of the history of the team, I would say, is they've always been up there with around the top of ANZ, but not quite, obviously, like Fnatic's up there as well, but so not quite as good as them in terms of APAC as well. The guys have never made it out of an APAC finals, and we're just trying to break that, next step, basically.
Yeah, so what do you reckon is what's, causing you guys not being able to get over that last hurdle of the APAC finals? Like, is it a mental thing, or are the other Asian teams just too nuts, or?
It's kind of hard for me to say because it was my first APAC finals, but I think it's just a multitude of things, just gradually improving as a team through roster changes and stuff like that, trying to be more efficient with our practices and just improve our gameplay, and then maybe a bit of a mentality thing. I'm not quite sure what the earlier kind of forms of the team. Last Pro League finals was kind of our prep leading up to it wasn't too good, but I don't want to blame it on that. We just didn't perform when we had to, and unfortunately lost to Xavier 2-1 there, but it was a good experience, so just got to keep looking forward, I guess.
I wanted to pick your brains a little bit as, the newest player, kind of newest player on the team. Depends if you count Neo, right? But, you are new to the competitive scene at this level. And like you said, you shot up straight from joining one Pro League team into joining the second best Pro League team in ANZ. And since then, you had your first LAN event, the Six Oceanic Cup. And you're playing with all these other players who are a lot more experienced than you as well. But, Copper in his interview, he had a lot of nice things to say about you. He says you're a nuts player. So I just thought maybe, tell us, what's it like, coming into this environment where there's already all of these established teams and players as a bit of a new guy, and what's that like as, as a player trying to practice all of the hours that's required in order to actually be a serious contender to Fnatic?
It was pretty eye-opening for me when I first joined Taboo. I was kind of honestly surprised, if anything, at the level that I thought ANZ Pro League was at. And I knew myself that I had a good work ethic if I wanted to, pursue competitive. And I guess that got me the opportunity to play for Orgless. And just so after that, just still putting in a lot of hours. I'm just trying to understand the game competitively as much as possible, with the strategy and all that, and just making sure you're playing and scrimming and your mechanics are on par. And it's a lot of work if you want to really be that next that next step, but it's just what you got to do.
All right, so I kind of want to ask, and pretty blunt, what went wrong on the last map there? You guys were 6-3 up and weren't able to close it out. And Dev and I were debating, was it you guys not playing as well, or was it them really stepping it up? What's your thought and your perspective on that?
Just minor mistakes in the last 3 rounds, I'd say. A bit of miscommunication about just getting on, getting into our early rounds, play positions, playing with each other. Lost us a few picks, or we didn't have certain info at times, as if when they played in a red bar they had got our site info. So just minor mistakes like that. It was pretty unfortunate. Yeah, just minor mistakes, I'd say.
So I thought to close it out tonight, we often ask people to say something to their fans, but I thought on top of that, maybe you guys could say something to any orgs out there as well. You guys have been orgless for quite a long time now, the entire duration that you've been on the team. So is there anything you'd like to say to any potential sponsors out there locally inside of ANZ and abroad, and also all the fans that you've gained out there across your fantastic performances in the region?
Well, first of all, for the fans that support us, ANZ, and always trying to like push us over the line at APAC lands. Just thanks to all the fans for the support, and yeah, in terms of orgs, we're a very committed and dedicated team, and we really want to get that next step. So we're just trying to make it worthwhile for ourselves, so we could sustain ourselves, so we could put in that effort and try and make that next level. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. Thank you very much for your time in the interview, and well played tonight. Good luck on the weekend with Six Masters, and of course next week in the Pro League.
Thank you, Dev. Thank you, Monkey. Cheers, guys.
See you, Diesel. Always lovely to have a chat to Diesel. Yeah, he's a good mate of mine. He's always. I got to meet him at this Oceanic Cup. That was really nice. That was a really nice moment for me personally.
Yeah, he's definitely. You can clearly see that he is driven. And I think the best part about it is he's also very mature.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only just turned 18, as he was saying, but he has the right mindset. He's not making excuses. He's not out there causing drama like, some players might be.
That's a really good point. Maturity can be a rare commodity, and I think people don't realize how much, maturity of personality actually translates into performance. Who was it? I saw someone the other day, and they wrote, I think it was a tweet or something, and it was brain greater than aim. And I saw someone retweet that and changed it to attitude greater than brain greater than aim. And that really stuck with me because, there's a lot of people out there that say you got to have good aim. A lot of people out there say you got to play smart. But what you don't hear as much is you have to have the right attitude to be someone who's willing to accept your mistakes and accept when it's your fault, accept when it's the team's fault as a whole, as a unit that includes you, and actually work at going through the steps to fix that.
Yeah, there's so many people out there that cannot take feedback.
Yeah, and it's completely essential in the Pro League. Like, you want to play at this level. Like, you have to be really driven, as you said. What have we got as any takeaways from that? Like, any comparisons between the two interviews?
I don't know. I suppose they were both very similar, weren't they? Both calm, collected, mature, but young guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, it was fantastic to have a chat to both of those guys, and it was a pleasure watching these teams go at it tonight. But that's all that we've got for you for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning into the ANZ Pro League, and we'll be back next week for more of the Pro League action. Until then, we'll see you next time.